On Christmas Eve, my parents handed my phone back and said, "We read your messages," but the one text they opened revealed a secret that destroyed their lives instead. Christmas Eve was supposed to be perfect, or at least as perfect as my family could manage. We always did the same thing every year. Hot chocolate, some ridiculous holiday movie playing in the background, and the scent of my mom's cinnamon candles filling the house. But even as the fireplace crackled and soft Christmas music played from the kitchen speaker, I could feel it in the air. Something wasn't right. I should have seen it coming. The way my parents kept glancing at each other, the tense silence between them, how my mother's hands fidgeted in her lap. But I ignored it. I was just happy to finally get my phone back. They had taken it away 2 weeks ago for something SDPID, missing curfew, too many times. It was one of their classic overreactions, and honestly, I had stopped arguing with them about things like that. When my dad cleared his throat and pulled my phone from his pocket, placing it carefully on the coffee table, I felt a flicker of irritation. Finally, but then he spoke. "We read your messages." At first, I laughed. I actually thought he was joking. "What?" "We read them," he repeated, voice calm but firm. "All of them." My stomach twisted. "Are you serious?" "We had a right to," my mom cut in, arms crossed. "We needed to know what's been going on with you." I stared at them, a slow, creeping anger spreading through me. They had invaded my privacy. My messages weren't even that interesting, just SDPID texts with friends, complaining about school, making fun of teachers, some memes. But that wasn't the point. The point was that they had gone through everything. "What the HLL is wrong with you?" I grabbed my phone, unlocking it. "That's so messed up." "We're your parents," my dad said stiffly. "Exactly," I snapped. "Which means you should trust me." But as I scrolled through my messages, I realized they had left one open. A text from an unknown number. I hadn't even noticed it before. It must have come in while my phone was taken away. And the second I read it, my heart nearly stopped. It's done. He doesn't suspect a thing. I'll handle the rest after Christmas. Just make sure the money's ready. I stared at it, confusion and fear crashing into me all at once. "What the HLL? What is this?" my father asked, his tone sharp. I don't know," I stammered. I looked up at them. "I swear, I have no idea who sent this." "You expect us to believe that?" My mother's voice was ice. "Yes. I don't even remember getting this." I scrolled up. There were no other messages from this number. No history. Just this one, ominous text. It must have been sent by mistake. My parents didn't look convinced. So my dad dropped the real beamshell. "We called the number." I stopped breathing. "What?" "We called." My mother repeated, eyes locked on me. "A man picked up. When we asked who he was, he immediately hung up." A chill ran down my spine. But then my father said, before he hung up, he said 2 words, "Tell Veronica." Something inside me cracked. Veronica. That name wasn't familiar to me. Not in a personal way, but I had heard it before. A long time ago, in whispered phone calls my dad used to make. In arguments between my parents that always ended in slammed doors and silence. Veronica was the woman my mother had accused my father of ting with years ago. And the way his face went pale told me everything I needed to know. My mother turned to him slowly, her expression unreadable. "Robert," she said, voice eerily calm. "Who the HLL is Veronica?" Dad opened his mouth, closed it. Then for the first time in my life, I saw my father panic. "Robert," my mother repeated, stepping closer to him. "Answer me." Dad exhaled sharply, rubbing his face. "Cynthia, oh my God," she whispered, eyes widening. "It's her, isn't it? She sent that text." My father didn't say anything, which was answer enough. I felt dizzy. My hands were shaking as I gripped my phone, as if that little screen could somehow anchor me in place. I looked at my dad, my voice barely above a whisper. "You're ting on Mom." His head snapped toward me. And that's when everything exploded. My mother started screaming. Not crying, not yelling, screaming. A raw, furious sound that made my stomach turn. "You're still seeing her?" she shrieked. "After everything? After I forgave you? After you swore it was over?" Dad reached for her arm, but she jerked away like his touch burned her. "Cynthia, just calm down. Don't you dare tell me to calm down." "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything." "Oh, so some random person just texts my child about money and says, 'It's done,' and we're just supposed to believe it's a mistake. I don't know why that message was sent to. You called the number, Robert." My mom was breathing hard, voice shaking with rage. "And the second they heard your voice, they told you to tell Veronica and hung up. That's not a mistake. That's not random. That's a damn warning." Something dark flickered across my dad's face. And that's when I realized it. He wasn't just ting. He was hiding something worse. For a moment, we all just stood there, the tension pressing down on us, so hard I could barely breathe. Then my mother whispered, "Oh my God." She turned to me, her face pale. "Call that number back," she said. My stomach dropped. What? She grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and dialed the number. Ringing. Once. Twice. Click. A voice, deep rough. Hello. My mother didn't hesitate. Who is this? Silence. Then, the line went dead. I swear the air in the room got colder. No one spoke. My mother's breathing was ragged, her hands trembling so badly she could barely hold my phone. I'm calling the police. Dad took a step forward. Cynthia, don't, she whirled on him. Shut the HLL up. Her voice was sharp enough to cut glass. Then she walked out of the room. Phone pressed to her ear. My dad stood there, fist clenched, jaw tight. And I realized I had just accidentally destroyed my entire family. My father stood there, fists clenched so tight his knuckles turned white. I had never seen him like that before, like a cornered animal trying to decide whether to fight or run. I sat frozen on the couch, my mind racing, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. This wasn't just a stupid affair. This wasn't just my dad screwing around behind my mom's back. It was something bigger, something worse. And I had no idea what I had just uncovered. From the kitchen, my mother's voice was sharp as she spoke to the police. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even screaming anymore. That was how I knew this was real, because she had gone ice cold. I could barely make out what she was saying. Yes, I need to report something suspicious. Yes, I have a phone number. No, I don't know their name, but they sent a text about money and something being done. My father took a step toward the kitchen. I jumped up immediately, heart in my throat. Dad, he turned, eyes locking onto mine, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in my father's face. Give me your phone, he said, voice low. I took a step back. What? I need to delete that text. No, I whispered. His jaw tightened. It's not what you think. I swallowed hard. Then tell me what it is. He exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. Listen, you don't understand. Then explain it to me. I exploded. My voice was louder than I expected. It rang through the living room, and I heard my mother stop talking in the kitchen. My father's hands clenched into fists at his sides. It's complicated. No, it's not, I shot back. Some guy texted me about money and said, it's done. Done what, Dad? What the HLL did you do? My mother stepped back into the living room, phone still clutched in her hand. They're sending someone to trace the number, she said. They'll get back to me soon. My father flinched. Jesus Christ, Cynthia. You don't want the cops involved? She said, voice shaking. Then maybe you should start talking. He dragged a hand down his face. Cynthia, I didn't want any of this. Her eyes narrowed. Want what? Silence. And then he said the words that made my blood turn to ice. I tried to stop it. Everything inside me went cold. Try to stop what? My mom whispered. My father opened his mouth, hesitated. Then he turned and bolted for the door. Robert, my mother lunged after him, but he was faster. He yanked the front door open, stepping out into the freezing night. I ran after them. The cold air hit me like a slap, my breath coming out in sharp gasps. Snow crunched beneath my feet as I skidded onto the porch. My dad was standing in the driveway, chest heaving, hands on his knees like he couldn't breathe. Dad, I called out. Don't do this. Just tell us what's going on. He didn't look at me. He just stood there, staring at the snow-covered street like he was trying to calculate his escape. My mom came up beside me, wrapping her arms around herself against the cold. If you leave right now, she said, her voice deadly quiet, I am never forgiving you. My father straightened. And then, headlights appeared at the end of our street. We all turned to look. A sleek, black car slowly rolled toward our house, its tires crunching against the snow. I saw it happen in real time. The way my father's entire body tensed, his breathing quickened, his hands shook. Then he whispered, oh God. My mom's grip on my arm tightened. Who is that? The car pulled up in front of our driveway. The engine idled, but the driver didn't get out. My father took a slow step backward, like he was afraid. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. Then, the passenger side window rolled down. A man sat inside. I couldn't see his whole face, just the lower half, the faint glint of a watch on his wrist. He smiled, and my father whispered, get inside. Now, my mother shook her head. No, I'm not. Now, Cynthia. The fear in his voice made me obey without thinking. I turned and ran up the steps, yanking my mother with me. We barely made it inside before my father slammed the door behind us, locking it. He was breathing hard, shaking. I had never seen my father scare before. What the HLL is happening? I choked out. My father pressed his back against the door. He ran a trembling hand through his hair, his eyes darting wildly, like he was trying to think. And then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, they weren't supposed to come here. Silence. My mother's hands were clenched at her sides. Who is that? My father swallowed hard. They're the ones who sent the message. I stared at him, my entire body numb. Dad, What did you do?" He didn't answer, but the knock at the door made my heart stop. The knock at the door sent a shiver down my spine. It wasn't loud. It wasn't hurried. It was deliberate, slow, calculated. I saw the way my father's whole body stiffened, how his breath hitched in his throat. Whatever he had done, whatever this was, he was terrified. My mom took a step forward, her voice barely above a whisper. "Robert, who is that?" Another knock. Still slow, still patient. Then a voice smooth, controlled. "Robert." I had never seen my father shake before, but at that moment his hands trembled at his sides. I felt my mother's fingers wrap around my wrist, squeezing tight. I had no idea if she was trying to comfort me or hold herself together. Then my father turned toward us. "Go upstairs," he said, voice low. "No," my mother snapped. His head whipped toward her. "Cynthia, no." She squared her shoulders. "I'm not going anywhere. You're going to tell me right now who is at that door and why you are acting like a damn coward in your own home." My father's jaw clenched. Another knock. Louder this time. I stepped closer to my mom, my heart pounding. "Dad," I whispered. "Just tell us what's going on." For a second, I thought he was going to lie. His mouth opened, his face twisted, like he was scrambling for some excuse. But then he exhaled sharply and dragged a hand down his face. "I owe the money," he said. Silence. My mother's lips parted. "What?" He swallowed hard. I made a mistake." My mother's eyes flashed with rage. "A mistake?" she hissed. "Robert, who the HLL are these people?" He hesitated. Then, finally, he admitted it. "They're loan sharks?" My stomach dropped. My mother's breath hitched. "You." She let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "You took money from criminals?" I didn't have a choice. She blinked at him, fury in her eyes. "You always had a choice." Another knock. Then the voice calm, patient. "Robert, open the door." I could hear my father's breathing quicken. He turned toward us again, pleading. "Please, just go upstairs. I'll handle this." But my mother? She laughed. Not a real laugh. A sharp, bitter sound that made my father flinch. "Oh, you'll handle this?" she spat. "Like you handled your AF affair? Like you handled lying to me for years? Like you handled whatever the HLL that text message was about?" My father had no words. He just stood there, shame written all over his face. And that's when something inside my mother snapped. Because she didn't go upstairs. She went straight to the front door. "Mom," I gasped, reaching for her. She ignored me. She ignored my dad. She unlocked the door and swung it open. And standing there, looking far too pleased with himself, was a man in a sleek black coat. He wasn't big or bulky. He wasn't some stereotypical thug. He was clean-cut, wearing an expensive watch, looking more like a businessman than a criminal. But his eyes got his eyes. They were cold, sharp, studying my mother with the kind of amusement that sent a chill down my spine. "Well," the man said smoothly, "this is unexpected." My mother smiled, and then she punched him in the face. I swear time froze. The man stumbled back, touching his jaw, looking genuinely surprised. My father gasped. I choked on my own breath. And my mother? She stepped forward. "I don't know who the HLL you think you are," she said coolly, "but you're not getting another damn penny from this family." The man let out a quiet chuckle, rubbing his jaw. "Ma'am," he said smoothly, "I'm afraid your husband made an agreement." She folded her arms. "Yeah? Well, I think we can come to a new agreement." The man lifted a brow. "Oh, see, I just called the cops." She tilted her head. "They're already looking into a certain suspicious text message we received today. You know, the one about money and something being done. And I'm sure they'd love to have a little chat with you." The man's face didn't change, but something in his eyes did. My father stared at my mother. "Cynthia, what are you—" "I also sent them your phone number," she continued, voice sweet. "And I may have mentioned that you were kind enough to stop by our house in the middle of the night, demanding money," she smiled. "Which I believe is called extortion." The man's jaw ticked. My mother shrugged. "So, we have two options here. You leave right now, and we never see your smug little face again." She leaned in slightly. "Or you can stick around and explain yourself to the nice officers when they get here." Silence. For a long moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, the man smiled. A small, knowing, dangerous smile. And he took a step back. "Well," he murmured, "I do love a woman who knows how to negotiate." Then, without another word, he turned on his heel and walked toward his car. I held my breath. The door to the sleek black car opened. He slid inside, and then, just as calmly as he had arrived, he drove away. The second he was gone, my mother turned to my father and slapped him. The sharp crack echoed through the cold air. "You disgusting, pathetic, lying son of a—" She cut herself off, her breath ragged, her whole body shaking with fury. My father held his cheek, looking too stunned to speak. And then, in a voice so steady it scared me, my mother whispered, "We're done." My father blinked. "Cynthia, we're done." She turned to me, her voice softer. Go inside, sweetheart. I swallowed hard, nodded, and then, without looking at my dad, I went inside. I didn't hear the rest of their conversation. I didn't need to, because by the time I woke up the next morning, my father's things were gone. And my mother? She made damn sure that the only thing he left behind was the mess he created.